Thank you. My name is Osiris, and I want to start by thanking the chairman and distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I was incarcerated for 11 and a half years. During my stay, Mr. Wall, I don't think was the director at the time. I think it was George Vos and some guy named Pine out of Massachusetts. And though I did hear his name mentioned, I don't exactly know what his capacity was. But when I was listening to his testimony, it sounded as if he was talking about a whole different place to me. I was like, what is he talking about? Are you aware of Mr. Sonny Carrillo, an inmate that killed a correctional officer and that has been in segregation of the whole time I was there? He was in seg, and he was in seg about 10 years prior to me coming there, and he's in high security and segregation. So I don't know if you know him, Mr. Wall. I did 90 days in segregation myself, so when I hear them talking about the maximum is 15 days, and I don't know what prison they're talking about. My worst experience, I think, was I was in a riot. I was in a prison riot, and they took me over to high security. And in high security, they have 2 rooms in the back of the hospital. They're 2 cells. In one cell, there was a man that was mentally ill. His name is Brian Perry. He was in the cell all day long. And I'm not exaggerating. This man was locked up 24/7. He never came out, not even for a shower. I knew Brian when he was on the streets, and he had committed a murder. So I hadn't seen him for a long time. So I'm in the cell next to his. Let me tell you about my cell. So they bring me to high security, and they put me in the cell in the back of the hospital where there's only 2. Then there's a shower stall. First, they made me remove all my clothes, everything. I had nothing. Then they took the mattress off the steel frame of the bed. Now the air conditioning is blowing. If you know high security, you know they have air conditioning in the cell. So the air conditioning is blowing full blast. So I'm sitting in this cell on this steel slab all day long, all night long, with no clothes, no blanket, no pillow. And I'm in the corner like this trying to generate body heat just to stay warm. And they didn't give me toilet paper, so I'm covered in my own feces. So I'm like this, and at sometime I would doze off to sleep. Then here comes the sadistic God. He kicks the door, wakes me up. So now I got to go through this sensory deprivation where I can't sleep, where I'm freezing. And this goes on for 10 days. This was the worst. I did 90 days in SEG. I did 30 days in SEG. But this 10 days was the worst time of my whole 11 and a half year experience in prison. So the guard would kick the door to wake me up so that I couldn't sleep. There was one that came and he had compassion for me. But that's how I stood for 10 days, freezing.
Did anybody check? Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Anybody check on you in that 10 days other than the guards waking you up?
I couldn't get any mail. There was no one from the psychiatric, whatever they were making reference to.
They ever give you your clothes back or the bed?
Nor did anyone go see the mentally ill man next to me the whole time I was there. Now, I took a shower after 5 days. I did get to take a shower. I came out for 1 hour, take a shower, go back in the cell.
What year was that, roughly? Do you remember?
91. That was 1991.
Did you ever get the mattress back or the clothes or anything in those 10 days?
After my 10 days were up, I got a review, and I was let out, and I was sent back to maximum security.
Mr. Chairman, what was your offense that got you into SEG?
Well, it was a riot going on at the time, and I wasn't an orchestrator of the riot, but I always find myself in situations. You know, I was young and I was trying to, you know, make my reputation in the prison.
Cyrus, you and I met a while ago when I was on the school committee in Cranston.
Okay.
Nice to see you again.
It's good to see you, sir.
But 1991, I want to move forward to 2016 because now we're having this dialogue today. What leads you to believe that those kinds of conditions still exist, or do you think that they don't exist anymore?
I'm not even sure if they exist or not. I've been out 23 years.
God bless you. God bless you.
However, when I listen to them talk, either something has drastically changed or they're talking about a prison in Alaska somewhere, because I don't know of any of that they're talking about. Really, I don't. And I'm not calling him a lie. I don't even know Mr. Wall. I mean, like I said, I started hearing his name towards the end as I'm working my way out, and I don't even know what capacity he was working in at that time, but he certainly wasn't the warden. And I heard you ask what, you know, I understand that you have to have say. You have to have a way to discipline these men because there are things that go on in there that you just have to. However, there has to be a more humane approach to how you mete out this discipline, because it's so dehumanizing to strip someone of their clothes. You know, someone had thrown some toilet paper, they wet it and threw it up in the ceiling. I remember smelling so bad and wanting to wipe myself so bad that I'm trying to jump up and grab this toilet paper. I can remember feeding the ants that came up through the crack of my floor just to entertain myself, to keep my mind from thinking about what was happening to me at that moment. So there has to be a more humane approach, and perhaps that's going on now under your reign. I don't know that, but I know what happened to me.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? Senator Metz.
No, Osiris, thank you. Always good to see you.
Good to see you
and
too,
I
sir.
appreciate what you do for the community and education and getting the guns off the street and working with the kids and advocating for better education. So I appreciate you and thank you, because I know it had to be painful for you to remember all of this. But I'm so glad to see you, because we needed to hear that testimony. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.